What's up folks, how you doing? So we're back again for an update on the Reefer 250, and this is 7 weeks. 7 weeks from the start, from when live stock went in. My first bit of live rock from the Nano, and it's all going really well. So fish stock have all settled in, the new fish stock that have been in there cut 3 weeks. The 8 green chromis, blue-green chromis, they're doing really well. Always hungry, always bugging me for food. The clowns are doing fantastic. They're squabbling and definitely growing loads. Colours are good, and shrimps are doing well. The other little one is down the back. They always seem to hang out together. They're doing fantastic. Algae Blenny, he's doing really well. He is feeding good. He's always picking this macro algae, and he feeds on flake and everything as well. And he's always got a fat belly, so I was a bit afraid that he was going to starve to death in there because it's quite a clean system. But as you can see, he's always picking, in the belly on him is always plump. So he's grown a bit, I think, as well. Definitely noticed him a bit bigger. So he's doing good. And orange spot goby, he's doing fine. And the last fish, where is he? The 6-line wrasse in here somewhere behind the rocks. There he is. Try and find him. Where's he gone? In there, in that hole. But yeah, so all the fish stock going good. Corals are going really well. I've put this piece of pulse coral now on this flat piece of rock away from the main lump of rock, so I don't want it spreading everywhere. And that's, when I first got that, it was just sort of like 8-10 heads. Now it's hundreds. They do grow quick, so I've kept him on his own. Green star polyps, they're doing really well, growing. The SPS corals getting brilliant growth. This purple stylophora was just 2 little prongs on a frag rock, sort of not even a third of the size of that, and it's sprouting out all different ways and splitting off. So it loves this tank and this lighting. And the new SPS coral, the pink hystrix, that's doing really well as well. That has definitely got growth on it. Just been in there a few weeks, and it's all forking off different branches. What I'm going to do is, I've got loads to cover in this video. Lots of questions from people, lots of stuff I want to cover. Obviously the update on the tank, what I've changed in the sump and that, which I'll explain in a minute. My maintenance routine, what I do to maintain this system, and I've got loads of questions I've got to answer. There's lots of questions coming in from new people that want to get into doing marines and reef keeping, so I'll try and cover everything I can. It's probably going to be quite long, this video, maybe 30 minutes, so I'll get on with it. So yeah, after 7 weeks, this tank's going really well, as I expected. Keeping the water parameters perfect. My coralline algae on this new rock, I don't know if you can see from previous updates, but this new rock I've put in here, this new live rock, is really going purple now. It's really expanding, and it's all spotting now on the back glass, especially on the plastic at the top. Sorry about the reflection from the window, but you can see it's all spotting on the plastic, loads, and it's starting now on the glass, hundreds of spots. So within the next few weeks they should all start expanding, and we should see some sort of coralline growth on the rear significantly. new magnet is really spotting purple, pink spots, and the new wave machine power head there. So we've got the algae explosion started in this tank as well, which is good. Right, okay, so my water parameters have been really stable. That's the key to getting this coralline to grow as well. You know, the parameters have to be right, and they also have to be stable. If they're jumping up and down all the time, that's not good. So my water parameters are running the salt at 35 parts per thousand, so nice and high. Temperature at 25 degrees C. Alkalinity, I'm running at about 11.5 to 12, so nice and high. Calcium 450 to 500, again nice and high. And magnesium 1350 to 1450, usually between 1450 1420. That's what I think yesterday I tested, it was at 1410, so that again high. Zero phosphates, zero nitrates. Well, what the test kit showed, nothing anyway. Not even getting a reading of those two. Silicates 0. So yeah, all water parameters are really, really good. The sump, I've changed things about in the sump again. And we're definitely how we want it in there now. So, as you probably noticed from the last video, I've moved the phosphate reactor that was hanging on the side of the sump. Now, I just didn't trust the hosing on it. And I know you can cable tie them down and whatnot, but if you get a tiny little leak, it's going to end up making a right mess everywhere on the carpet and that. So I've now mounted it internally. So if we do get a leak, it doesn't matter, it just drips straight down into the tank. It probably won't leak, but to be safe and sorry, of course it gives me a little bit more room in front of the dosing containers to get to them and stuff, and to get to my supplement solutions and stuff behind. Otherwise I was reaching over too much. It was just in the way. So, and I think it looks neater as well. So yeah, that's hanging on the back inside the sump now, and that is full up with Riophos. Yeah, so I've got the dosing system running now, all 3 lines. Alkalinity at 2 mil every hour. It's about 48 mil a day, and the alkalinity in the centre one. The one on the right is calcium, and that's just doing about 8 mil a day at the moment, and this one's magnesium, again about 8 mil a day, to keep those parameters up where I want them. It all seems reliable. I was a little bit scared of getting all 3 running. It's just, you've just got to test every day to see what the system's using down. I know what the system's using, and I've put the appropriate amount of dosage per day or whatever hour, and obviously you just have to keep testing to see what effect that does on the parameters, and go from there and adjust to suit. But yeah, it seems to be going okay. Right, so I'm going to quickly move on to my maintenance routine on this tank. And there is a hell of a lot of maintenance to be done to keep this all perfect. I say a hell of a lot. I'm quite fussy and anal with everything. I like everything to be proper and done right. I like the glass being absolutely pristine and the water parameters correct. So my maintenance routine on this tank, I do on a Monday is what I call maintenance Monday. So after I've done the school run and I come back, it's all systems go. The first thing I do is shut the system down. So shut the overflow off, shut the reactors off, and do a water change. I'll just quickly show you. This is my RI station underneath in the kitchen. The sink. It's got a 4-stage RIDI unit at the back. Nice glass tank with circulation pump. and out pumping it at 9,000. And the digital heater. So yeah, it's 26 litres that holds. So I do a 26 litre water change. If I need to change my rifles, which I do every sort of 3-4 weeks, and my carb will be 2-3 weeks, I do that. The skimmer gets cleaned, the cup gets cleaned like it's new again, and the filter socks, they get changed out for new ones. I top up the RO tank. Inside the tank, before I've done that water change, what I do is I put all the power heads on full, all the wave machines on full, and I use a turkey baster and blow the rocks to get any detritus, dust and stuff out of the rock pores. So it all suspends in the water column, and the wave machines are obviously blowing it about, it gets taken down into the sump. I do that before I shut everything down. After I've done the water change and got everything all back up and running again properly, I clean the glass meticulously with the flipper magnet, and I flip it, put the metal blade on it, and I get right into the corners and the edges all the way around. The outside, I clean the outside with a screen cleaner and microfiber, and I polish the top edge with RO and buff it down with tissue paper, so it's all nice and watermark free, which is how I like it. So after I've done all that, it's all settled down and running, I test every single parameter and log it down, so I know exactly where the tank is and where we are level wise. Then I know what I've got to adjust on the dosing system to keep those parameters in check. So product wise, I'm using, the salt I'm using is Red Sea's Coral Pro. So, yeah, I do like Red Sea stuff, and I'm using all their supplements. But I think the main reason for success I've had with that little nano in this is that salt. Red Sea Coral Pro. I'll show you that. Let's get a light on. So yeah, it's Red Sea's Coral Pro salt. What I like about it is it's already got the elevated levels of calcium, magnesium and alkalinity. So looking on the back, if you're running at 35 parts per thousand, you're going to get alkalinity of like 12.3, calcium 455 to 475, and magnesium 1360 to 1420. Now I run my tank at around 12 on the alkalinity, calcium 450 to 500, and magnesium about 1400. So it gives you a good head start. Every time you're doing a water change, you're getting them parameters as close to where you like to keep the tank anyway. It's quite expensive, but for the price difference of a cheap salt and the benefits it's got, I highly recommend it. It's been great. Obviously using a refractometer to test for the salinity, and a TDS meter to make sure my RODI unit is coming out at TDS 0. Every week I test that. Supplements. So in the little nano, it's still kicking around over there. I was going to sell it, but I don't have much interest in it really, to be honest. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. But yeah, in the nano, dosing wise, I was using Red Sea's Reef Foundation A, B and C. A calcium, B alkalinity, C magnesium. And you can buy it in these little half-litre solution bottles, which worked well. They're about 15-16 quid each, and yeah, that's the way I was doing it, just dosing it as and when was required. Alkalinity obviously daily, but the other two weekly, just to keep parameters right. Now with this new reefer, there's obviously a lot more water. To dose this tank in the liquid form, that's going to be really expensive, because I'm really burning through the alkalinity on it. it just costs a fortune. So luckily they do it in powder form where you can make it yourself, A, B and C. You get a hell of a lot more. You make the solutions up, and these are about £22 each, the powders, and you mix up your own solutions, so it lasts a hell of a lot longer, a lot cheaper way of doing it. Test kits, I'm testing all the parameters with salad foot kits, which I believe are really accurate. They're simple to use, they're relatively cheap, about £10 each. So yeah, they're great. They're obviously calcium, alkalinity, magnesium and nitrate is what I'm testing for pretty much all the time, and there's the JBL test kit in there. I use the phosphate test and the silicate test. Yeah, so they're the four main ones that I'm using and testing for, you know, 3 or 4 times a week at least, just to make sure my nitrates are at 0. But I like to just keep an eye on everything and make sure. So that's that lot. What else I want to cover? Yeah, the tank is pretty much there equipment wise. The only thing I'm going to add is another wave machine, another J-bow. I'm going to go for an RW8, that's an RW4 on here, an RW8, just to get a little bit more flow, and I've got a scope to go more flow if I need to, but I think it's okay. Yes, it's mainly for SPS, but they seem to be very happy and growing well. So what are we, 17 minutes in, so yeah, we've got a bit more time. So what I want to talk about now, basically, these questions are coming in from new people, and yeah, and what I start with is my history of marine keeping and reef keeping. It started about 20 years ago. Obviously we all start with the tropical tanks, and then obviously really want to do the marine, and we take that first step into marines. And this is no word of a lie, the first marine tank I had was about 25 litres, 30 litres, tiny, and the first fish I got was a porcupine puffer. And honestly, a porcupine puffer in a 30-litre tank just goes to prove, you know, how ignorant I was, and just the knowledge on there. You've got to do the best possible thing you can do if you want to get into doing this is, one, get into it and do your research. Go online, Google everything, go on all the sites, go on YouTube, go on channels like this. Try and get as much information as possible. There's good information out there, there'll be some bad information, but you can sort of pick and choose which way and what route you want to go, and just learn from everything. Obviously you're going to learn when you go through and do the actual tanks, and you'll learn by your mistakes, but you know, to educate yourself, you've got to, you know, read up and just make good decisions on what you're going to buy, what stock, and what sort of system you're going to go for. The first thing you got to decide is, what sort of marine tank do you want? Because there's so many different types. You know, if it's a reef system that you want to see the corals, all the live rock and all the crabs and shrimps and starfish and whatnot. You know, you've got to go for a reef system. Basically, what I'm trying to say, you know, if you like fish, you want to go for a fish only system. Every system you've got to build it right to what you want to keep. So my only advice is to go for as largest tank as you can possibly get, because quite often what happens with in this hobby is you'll start small, as we all do. You know, I come back into marines after 20 years of keeping them and into this little nano. You know, going back to my first marine tank again, porcupine puffer, that obviously lived about 2 weeks, if that, yeah, it died. So, you know, I upgraded, ended up having a massive fish room on the back of one of my houses, big fish only system, big reef system. But again, it was early days, so I was still learning, especially with the reef system. Wasn't particularly successful because I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't understand about dosing, calcium, alkalinity, magnesium, didn't understand it all. So I just sort of shot in the dark really, and just gambled with it, and it wasn't that successful, and rightly so, you know. So, and I sort of progressed on with my, I had a fish only system. That was big puffers and triggers, tangs and stuff. That was successful, but you know, providing you've got the right size tank, you can't really go wrong. And you've got a good maintenance routine in place, water changes, etc. Then I had a break away from it for a while, and say a year or so ago I decided to get back into it again with that little nano. Just wanted a small little easy to manage reef. Done so much homework, got really back into it, done the nano. It's really successful and obviously spurred me on to doing this, and I'm really back into it. It's just so rewarding in every way, keeping one of these tanks, you know, because everything you do right and everything you do towards the tank and you have a success is a big payoff, and you think, oh, I've done that, you know, it's down to me that this tank, one, looks awesome, second, is really healthy and thriving. So that's the payoff with it. And when people come around, they're always like, wow, that looks amazing. They have no idea of, one, how much it costs, and secondly, the work that goes into it to maintain it and to get it to look like that. So yeah, when you go into it, get as big as a tank you can get, because one, it's more forgiving because there's more water to make, you know, if anything goes wrong, it's going to go wrong a lot slower in a big system because of the amount of water there is. Compared to a small system, a little system like a little nano, you've got to really know what you're doing with it, because if you do something wrong, it's going to go wrong very quickly and have a devastating effect. That's not to say that you can go that route, as long as you're really vigilant and you understand all the water parameters properly, that you can't go for a nano. If you, especially cost-wise, you think you start pricing everything up, and that's why most people go for a small tank, it's cost, and they think, oh, it's smaller. One thing I will say about it now, if things do go wrong, at least you can correct it quickly by, you know, a quick water change. That little nano was 50 litres, I think, 53 litres. You know, you can do a 50% water change, no problem, inexpensive. And the maintenance on it's inexpensive as well, because you're doing 10% water changes of salt. Your test kits and your dosing solutions and stuff is cheap, because it's so small. Once you step up, the larger you go, the more expensive it becomes, because you've got to have more equipment, more expensive lighting, wave machines, etc, etc, and obviously to do the maintenance you're looking at more supplements, looking at more salt. So yeah, plan it well, and budget it out and see, but just try and go for the largest one you can. The next thing you need to decide is what type of system you're going to be going for. Is it just fish only? If you're just going fish only, bigger is better, because big fish, lots of big fish in a tank, they're going to need lots of food. Lots of food equals high nitrates, high phosphates. You're going to use some good equipment, brilliant big skimmer to take all the mechanics out. And you're going to need to do some nice big water changes, and on a big tank that can get expensive, so be careful with that. Reef systems, you can go for any size you like really. This is 250 litres, and I think for me it's, because I like to do everything real proper, for me it's way enough. Obviously I'd love to do a much bigger system, but money doesn't put, I know what that, one, it would cost, secondly what it costs to maintain. Especially doing the water changes I like to do, at least sort of 10-20% a week. So yeah, just like I say, do your homework and go for it. The cost, don't underestimate the cost of this, because you'll budget it out, and trust me, there'll be things you just don't think about, you have to buy. And if you sat down and ended up itemising everything you bought, you would be surprised at what it all comes to. It's the tank itself is probably, especially on a reef system, is the cheapest part. That this tank, Red Sea Reefer, the 250 is 800 quid. And trust me, that's the least expensive part of this system. So you only have to do your homework, go onto the sites, look at the equipment you want to put on it, add it up, and you can soon be into the thousands. So yeah, good luck. So any questions you've got, I will try and answer them, obviously either on the reply to the video, the comment you put underneath, or on my next update. But yeah, so this is, I think I've covered everything. There's bound to be something I've forgotten. I'm going to do just a quick, let's see what percentage of the lights are on now, because obviously they're changing all the time. We're on 78% colour, 100% brightness. So what I'm going to do is just a quick video documentation of bits and parts around the tank, so I can have a record of this strawberry conch. What I might add is it's been awesome. He is probably responsible for keeping my sand really white. Yeah, this tank is 7 weeks. It's still in what I call diatom stage. So the brown dusting you see, just behind the wave machine there, and on the sand, focusing. See the brown bits. Now that strawberry conch is constantly feeding off it, and that new white shell in like 3 weeks, 3-4 weeks, is new shell growth. So he's growing, feeding well. They're brilliant for keeping your sand nice and clean. Because I know if he wasn't in there, this white sand would be all brown. Yeah, so I'm just going to do a close-up of different areas of the tank, so I can look back and see the difference. It's mainly the coralline growth I want to see, so I can compare, because it grows so quick. It's good to look back where the different stages, and obviously fish size as well. If you do this little video log, you can see your fish size, your fish growing. This piece of rock here is an old piece of live rock from years ago that was sitting in my garden on a patio for ages, as with the bit I put the pulse coral on. So they are becoming live, and once they're covered in coralline, you'll know no different. But this was pure white, this rock, when it went in 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago. And now, as you can see, the coralline colonies, red, purple, pink, all encrusting in the pores. That's growing by the day. Every morning I come down when the lights come on and stuff. Well, it goes for moonlight first, but as the lights go up through that day, it gets more and more and more. Become obsessed with coralline. Some people don't like it because it does hinder the performance of the live rock, because the water can't go in and out the pores as much. Because the coralline is covering it all, but I really love it. I love the look of it, especially when the back wall was covered. So I noticed loads of them bristle starfish in this new live rock, loads of them. There's probably 12 plus in here. It's just sort of added bonus for clean-up crew. I've had to putty down that stylophore as well. Most mornings I come down, it's laying on its side. These turbo snouts, which that one there, culprit, keep knocking them over. So I've reef puttied that down now. I haven't done with the Hystrix, but it doesn't seem to be. It seems to be quite solid in that rock. I will putty it down at some point. Just don't know 100% whether it's going to stay in there or not yet. So we're a half hour in on this video. Hopefully I'll upload. Just trying to just get a bit more documentation of inside on this same video if I can. Okay folks, I'm going to wrap it up. I hope to do a video update every week, you know, on a Tuesday, every Tuesday. So I hope to be back next Tuesday with 8 weeks in update. Okay folks, thanks for your, all your comments and stuff. Keep them coming, keep subscribing, and see you in the next video. Cheers folks, bye.